Hey everybody, it's Sandy. How are you? Coming to you live from Ontario, Canada, if you're not familiar with me. Great to have you here. Nice to be here. Since the last video, I've had this question come up time and time again, and I'm really happy to take the time right now to go through it because I think it would be helpful if you're waiting for a reading appointment, whether it's with me or someone else, or you're thinking about getting a reading either with me or with someone else. Here's sort of my take on what you can expect before, during, and after a reading with a psychic medium. So the before is pretty straightforward. You make the appointment, you maybe have an expectation, maybe there's something happening in your life right now that you need help with, a specific issue. Maybe you just want to know who's around you. You want to feel your family and friends. You might even want to clear up an issue that you had with someone before they passed away, and you're looking for that continuation. I never refer to a reading as one last time or one last conversation. For me, it's a continuation of the conversations. It's something to learn from. It's something to make you maybe feel a bit nostalgic or very sentimental, maybe a little angry. Maybe you're still frustrated with that person and they're not coming through with the info that you had wanted. However, I have it on very good authority from the other side that we always get what we need. So the before, you may be setting an expectation, or you may just want to say, you know what, whatever's around me is around me. Also, a lot of busy times for reading end up around the holidays, whatever holiday it is from whatever part of the world that you would be celebrating. Some people get really nostalgic or funny around Christmas time. Maybe they're by themselves and they've lost everybody. Not lost in the physical sense, not in the spiritual sense. And they just want some comfort that way. Or it's their birthday, or it's someone else's birthday. I often hear so and so would have been, 95 had they lived, and they book a reading around that time. So the before is really easy. There's not much to do except maybe have a little bit of a mindset, be mindful of the energies of people who have crossed and the people who are still around you. I mean, my husband is still very much alive, and his energy is around me, I'm sure, right now, thinking on some level of what to have for dinner, what to do later, that kind of thing. And if you're a busy mom or a busy dad, your kids' energy never leaves. You're always thinking about them. So be mindful of energy around you who are living and who have passed. The other side can come up with names and initials of, and you'll say, oh yeah, but they didn't pass. That's, my coworker. You could also be asked to be a carrier of a message. Can you please tell so-and-so that this person has come through and here's the message? So that's the during part. If you're with me, here's the during. So about an hour before every single reading, if I have time, which most of the time I do, I will sit for about 45 minutes to an hour in meditation. I will do a clearing of myself, everyone and everything in this house, and then whoever I'm reading for, and everyone and everything they've come in contact with that day, just to give people the chance to be grounded and open and receptive to the messages that are coming through. Here's a real, it's not a no-no, but I think it works against people. I've had it many times where people say, I would like to believe you, but you didn't say, I have a favorite pair of green pants, or whatever the phrase might be. People can set the expectation like, if it's really my dad, he's going to comment on my green pants. Well, guess what? Dad might not. He maybe is a little tired of being told what to do. And I've had that exact message. I had a daughter, her dad came through, she wanted an exact message. And he just folded his arms in front of me and said, she always told me what to do when she had to look after me. I'm not doing it. And by the way, she hasn't believed a thing you've said in the last 15 minutes because she's waiting for this phrase. So I called her on it. I had no choice. What would you do if this was you? So I just gave the dad's exact message. The lady's head hit the table and she started to cry. And she said, that's my dad. He was really stubborn. and he really hated me telling him what to do. So, and then the reading went on from there. So whether it's like 45 minutes, an hour and a half, an hour and a half is a long time to stay in this energy. But for me, it all goes by like it's 10 or 15 minutes. I lose track of time. And quite often, the people that I'm reading lose track of time too. It's a different energy coming in, and it tends to sweep us away while we're in it. The after part is also really, really important. So for me, a reading is over, everyone is thanked, the client goes away. Now my work hasn't finished yet. I'm still going to sit and go back into meditation and thank my whole team. I call them my heavenly team of archangels, deceased loved ones, ascended masters, whoever I can call upon that day, my core team. And I'll also thank the energies that came through, the deceased loved ones, the friends, the family, the pets, recall, memories, everyone that brought that forward, which can also be your guardian angels, your ascended masters, your elementals, the elemental realm, the elemental guides. Oh my gosh, the leprechauns, the fairies. Those, you guys are tricky. And there's probably people watching right now who know that they're elemental energy, who get a sense of, you know what, they're just like super at home outside, around water, in the forest. Maybe they know every tree, blah, 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 and they've never studied it, but they just know it intuitively. You elemental crowd, you're always really tricky because you have a funny sense of humor and quite often trickster type of energy where they'll come through with a memory that maybe the client, didn't feel great about, or maybe they were a little embarrassed by, like, remember the time, blah, blah, blah. You were at the barbecue, you got hit by a spark and your pants went on fire, whatever that is. Those are the elementals. They'll come in with memories like that quite often, as well as deceased loved ones. But the elemental realm, I love you guys. You are just tricky, tricky, tricky. I remember years ago having an oak tree in my backyard, and this oak tree was failing. It was hundreds of feet high, a couple of hundred anyway, and it wasn't doing well at all. I had a friend who was an elemental, a self-proclaimed elemental, and she came over and she talked to my tree. I know what you're thinking. I get it. But I'm telling you, I still walk by that tree and it's thriving. It took about 3 or 4 days and the whole tree picked up. Leaves that were brown were green. Branches that hadn't started to grow were suddenly strong, and the tree was vibrant. That same person, when we took my dogs for a walk, I told her, there's a dog down there. It's kind of vicious. It runs to the fence. It always barks at the dogs. The dogs are afraid, blah, blah. She said, leave it with me. Wordlessly, we walked by the fence. The dog came out and came to the fence and sat down and looked at us and didn't say a word. Not a word. You don't know how vicious this dog was. He'd usually be coming, running, teeth baring, growling, barking. He was doing his job of defending his property, but he was scaring the crap out of the rest of us. And I said to her, what did you do? And she said, in my head, I just told him he better behave. And he did. So that's my take on the elementals. But anyway, so the before, the during, the after. So after, as a client, and from years of experience of chasing the subject matter, I always wanted to learn more. Before I knew I could do this, I had this wild curiosity that never went away about how does energy actually work. So after, as a client, from my perspective, here's what I advise everybody. Don't get into a contentious situation. Don't really try your best not to argue with anybody. If someone's picking an argument with you, just go the other way. You've been immersed in different energies for the day, and it's going to stick with you for a while. So like rest, relax, eat, water. I always make sure people are grounded after, especially if they're in person, because quite often they're driving away. And it's just like a self-care regime. And once you do it enough, boom, 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 it becomes automatic. I'm doing my part to send grounding to whoever I've just read. And so it works like twice as fast if the client can kind of go through those steps as well. Now, does that often happen? Probably next to nothing, but this is my ideal situation. Quite often, people will be so jazzed that they got a message from so-and-so. Guess what they heard? Guess what they said? That they'll get on their phone as soon as they get in their car and call everybody they know. And it's a bit of, oh my God, holy whatever, all the way back to wherever they're going. And I've had people that schedule dinners with friends on the same days they do readings because they want to discuss the findings of the day. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool for sure. If you've had a reading, I mean, I would love to hear from you and get your take on it, whether it was with me or with somebody else. I'm just having a quick peek in the comments. I'm going to see if I can do. Thanks, Meg. Thank you. Yeah, it's important stuff because when listen, you're spending your money on this. You want to know where it's going to go, how it's going to affect you, at least to be informed. You might not be coming in grounded. Maybe you've had a tough day at work, a fight with your spouse, your kids are driving you bananas, financial pressure, housing pressure. Maybe people are hungry. I can usually tell if people are hungry. That might be the first thing that I'm shown when people sit down. And it's just an energy around like, oh gosh, you haven't eaten today, have you? That kind of a way. So it's kind of an overall take on where we're headed ahead of time for me, where we can go during the reading so that you're getting the most out of it, so that you're left encouraged, knowing that you're loved, knowing that you're heard, and that, very, very physically, you aren't as alone as you may perceive yourself to be. And anytime you can give someone that sort of feeling, I think it's just more important to do it than not do it. And that's how I do this. So it just became more important to make people feel good and to pass things along than it did to not do it. But I'll tell you a quick story about that as well. So a lady came to see me, and if some of you know the story, I'm sorry, it's a quick story. I'll just be fast. But if you don't know it, here we go. So a lady came to see me, and she only spoke Portuguese. She brought her youngest daughter with her to interpret. Great. Never met either of them before. No problem. Language is not really a barrier in energy, because as long as I can convey what I'm supposed to, it's a universal thing. So the young daughter was there to interpret. The mom came to see me because she wasn't too thrilled on her oldest daughter's choice of a fiance. And she wanted to hear from her mom on the other side to make sure she was on the right track, to be validated. I'll never forget this. This was a long time ago. I got 3. I was shown 3. And so I said to her, I'm being shown 3. Do you know why? And she's like, no. But it would not go away. 3, 3, 3. Okay. So this man came through. His name was Joe. 3 letters. I said, is there another meaning for 3? He had 3 fingers. He was a bricklayer. His other fingers had been smashed. He only had 3 fingers. The woman had a crazy reaction, but it made sense for her. She said, I'm not paying you to hear from my brother. We didn't get along, and I don't want to hear from him now. But the brother saw this as an opportunity to come in and make amends with her that he couldn't do when he was here in the physical. Long story short, he apologized. They made amends. He told her all the information about this fiance. That wedding went ahead, and that mom felt so much better. Her fears were really washed away. It was her being hypervigilant about her daughter, not necessarily fears on the fiance. And her brother from the other side could see the whole thing. Anyway, that's just one that stuck with me. So I'm trying to peek in the comments. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for the comments, guys. I appreciate all of the kind words. I'm just having a quick look. Oh, let me put you up here. Okay, I have been told that the elemental walk with me and I live in a forest. I've been told that the elementals walk with me. I live in a forest. I'm not surprised. What better setting for the elementals to be in? I'm curious though, when you walk, have you ever dropped candies or anything sweet? They love the essence of the sugar. The sweeter, the better. My elemental friend taught me that. And she would say, you know, if you have a fairy door at the base of a tree on your property, that kind of thing, put some candies around there. And I would. And the candies don't go anywhere. They're just taking the essence of the sweetness of whatever you're leaving. But you actually may want to try that. But in the forest, 100%. And I mean, you can see my picture behind me. I was owned by a border collie for many, many years. And after she passed, I got that picture. And dogs, animals, they will respond very well to elemental energy. So yeah, you may want to try that, or just notice a couple of things. Or if you do drop sweets somewhere, maybe the next time you walk by there, see if the birds are a little bit extra loud, or there's something else growing there. Yeah, it's all just energy, and watching it unfold in front of you can kind of be a cool thing too. So you may want to try that. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to pop in and give you a quick overview on the before, the after, and the during once you book an appointment with me or with anybody else. I'm Sandy from CanadaLightworkers.com. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.